You have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggles, stories, and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. Downloadable audio episodes can be found on the podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. We are locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie, and today we are welcoming / preparing to learn from Crystal Sadiq, the COO and co-founder of Tripple. So Crystal, how are you doing today?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing very well. If you, I guess just to start out, what is Tripple?
Well, that's a great question. So Triple, which actually stands for Time Ripple, is the world's first social legacy app. And, that's we're a new type of app in a new type of space. And so I think the best way to sort of summarize what is Triple is to think to yourself, how would you like to be remembered? If you think about your grandkids, your future grandkids, and you ask yourself, how do you want them to remember you? Is it for your good deeds? Is it for your knowledge, your work, your memories, photos, videos? All of that really is what comprises somebody's legacy. And the digital legacy is really just the digital makeup of a person's legacy. And that includes their digital will. The digital will is a component of the entire legacy of the person. So Triple is really an app that allows a person to create and curate throughout their lives and build on their legacy. In some ways, it resembles a lot of social media apps in the way that you get on, there's a feed, you connect to friends and family, you post videos, you post photos. But the thing that makes Triple different, well, there's a few things. One is that when you're there, you know that you're there with the intent of building your legacy. If you ever got on social media or Instagram, you may not go into it thinking, oh, these are the photos I want my great-great-grandchildren to see, especially maybe
not.
some maybe less curated type of application. And so Triple is meant to be something that's very curated, and it's nice because you can also really personalize the information on the app. It's also a place where you can record your life's memories. So you can go in and create future messages for friends and family. You can go in and record memories in a daily journal prompt called a cast question. You can write them down. You can put in a voice recording of your answers. And of course, one of the biggest things I think about Triple is it's a way to slowly and steadily build your digital will over time. And it's free. There's
All
that little
right. Wow, that's quite the introduction. I have to figure out all the questions that I have to ask you here to organize this a little bit. Let's start from the end, moving backwards. So
Perfect.
let's just say that I get on Triple and I die.
Yeah.
How do my kids, spouse, whatever, how do they get access to my Triple account to see all the stuff that I wanted to share?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a lot of things that will happen when you first get into Triple. You will select a next of kin, and you'll start linking and connecting to family and friends like you would for any regular social media app, for example. Now, let's go back a little bit and talk maybe about your will. Let's say that you get onto Triple, and really all you want to do is have a free way to make yourself a nice digital will. And our wills are completely legal and completely binding. So you can get on and make a perfectly acceptable legal will on Triple for free. So let's say you get on there and do that. You are going to identify who are your next of kin, and you're going to link that with Triple. And every time you assign an item to somebody, you're going to put in that person's information. So that is automatically released to that person upon your passing. So it's all automated, it's all automatic, and it's something you can do piece by piece. Each time you go in, you add to it. And the best part is it automatically updates a legal PDF file that you can send to your next of kin, send to your lawyer, send to whomever you like. So it's all very simple. It's designed to be something that anyone can do. It's very easy, it's stress-free, and it's all automatic and automated.
All right. So if I understand this correctly, and I have to apologize because I didn't pick up on this right away, this sounds like it is its own social media platform as well as some of the other social media platforms. I guess kind of, I don't want to say absorbing, but
Yeah, so it's independent.
joining. I don't know what you want to
It's
say.
I would say that it's independent. It can be integrated, so you can answer a cast question on Triple and share your answer on other social media platforms, for example. But it's its own independent platform, and we wanted that to be the case for a few reasons. You know, we wanted to have a place where you can interact differently than you might in other social media environments. And we wanted it to have a place where, because it's your legacy and because of some of the information you're leaving, you may want to really be selective about what you share and with whom. So, for example, let me tell you a little story. When we first started making the app, and we were live and we were sharing the app with friends and family to get feedback. One of the questions is, who is your favorite uncle? That was a
Okay.
cast question that came through that I had answered. And I'm not going to share that answer with you today, but let's say I did share that answer on Triple and I didn't put the answer in private mode. I shared it with everyone. So that really brought about some conversation amongst my family members. And so if I had wanted to, I could have answered that question in a private mode so that I could look back and access my own memories, but maybe it's not shared with everybody. I could share that information with just my husband or just my sister. You know, I can be really specialized with who I share photos with, who I share recipes with. And so it really allows me to be, able to interact with it differently than I might in other platforms.
All right. Tell me about what's coming to mind right now to me is when you compare this from my point of view, compare
Mhm.
this to some of the other social or most other social media platforms. I would argue from what I have seen that a lot of those are not necessarily authentic. People are putting a front of how they want the rest
Right,
of the world to
right, right.
believe their life is. Where this sounds like you're actually presenting this to people that know how your life is. So they'd be able to be like, that's not exactly what you have going on. So
Right.
is that authenticity? I guess, do people maintain that, or does it fall in the trap of what a typical social media platform is where everything's unicorns and rainbows?
So I think with Triple is, yes, it you can be as authentic as you want because you can really curate what you post. If you have 1,000 followers, you know, or if you've connected to a wide swath of people, um, you can still post a very personal photograph of your family and only share that information with your family. And so it's a way to be very authentic, but also, do some of the more generic things that you may want to do. You can do really both at the same time,
All right,
and that's something that I think makes it very unique.
got it. All right. So tell me, you and your husband, I believe, founded this. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes,
All right. And you're both surgeons.
that
So
is true. Hmm.
is that right? So how did this come about?
Well, I think like a lot of stories in life, I would say ours started with a tragedy.
Okay.
Um, so several years ago, a good friend of ours passed away, and it was very sudden, and really tragic. She was young, she had young children, and she isn't somebody that anybody expected would pass away suddenly. And in the days and the weeks after she passed away, it really just felt like her digital life and her online life suddenly ended, you know? And it felt very sad. There was no created memory or something saved that she would be passing down to her children. It wasn't like photos and memories were kept in this preserved place. It just felt like a very sudden stop. And that's really when we realized that social media isn't the same as a digital legacy. It isn't the same as having that legacy in place, and there's a really big piece missing from our online lives, and we wanted to fill that hole, and that's sort of where the seeds were planted in our mind for Triple.
All right. So can you elaborate on that a little bit? Is the idea that if this woman would have had Triple, tell me how it would have been different?
Well, we couldn't help but think, so let me tell you a feature. One of our features is an option where you can create um, a memory for someone in the future, a future message. And
Okay.
so I could record a message today for my son, um, telling him congratulations on his wedding day. And if I'm at his wedding, great, I'll tell him in person. But if something happens to me, this message will automatically get emailed to him and say, open this on your wedding day. And
Oh,
so,
interesting. Okay.
we can't help but wish that something like this had existed where she could be known to her kids in a way that she wouldn't be otherwise.
Mm-hmm. All right. And how long has Triple been out there to the
We
masses, so to speak?
so we've been live and are and optimized for download really only for several months,
Okay.
maybe 4 months now. So it's pretty new.
All right. And how has it been received so far?
It's been received great. We have, at this point, I would say thousands of downloads. We're growing really rapidly. We've gone through, as a new company and a new app and in a new space, and we can talk about that. That's a challenge, but we've gone through a lot of rounds of optimization, user feedback, and we've improved our rate of onboarding. We've improved our registration rate. It's up from about 25% in the beginning to almost 50% now. And
Oh,
that's
wow.
really come from a lot of efforts on our part with simplifying the registration process and taking a lot of that feedback from our early users and our beta testers. And we've improved our average time. So the average amount of time that people are spending on the app has gone up. So yeah, we continue to optimize and we continue to take in that feedback, but we're growing at a really steady pace and we're very excited about that.
All right. That's very cool. Tell me, I guess you alluded to this a little bit. There have been a ton of fits and starts with different social media platforms of any kind. I
Mhm.
even was chatting with a buddy about an idea that he had about one that I thought that sounds really cool, but just venturing into getting into that space has got to be challenging. Forget
Mm.
about the actual programming of it, just getting it out there, getting the users, the chicken egg
Yeah.
scenario of which comes first, the platform and the users, all that jazz.
Mhm.
So tell me, what has been your experience in putting this out there? And I guess has it been good, bad?
Yeah, no, it's been so obviously, with everything new, there's ups and downs. And
Mm-hmm.
I would say our biggest challenge is that not only are we introducing a new app and introducing a new product, but we are really introducing an entire genre of a space and defining that space as we're defining ourselves. So if you were to ask anyone on the street, what is the digital legacy space? What is a digital legacy app? They may not know. They may think they know. There's a lot of things on the market that are very dissimilar to us or have some components of us but are not the same as what Triple is, like digital lock boxes or password keepers. There's death tech, which is another term thrown around, which is really different than digital legacy, but things like an app, for example, that helps you choose your funeral plot.
Oh,
And
interesting.
so
Okay.
so there are things out there that aren't necessarily digital legacy. And so we're really defining ourselves in a newly defining space. And that's always difficult, but I think we're prepared for that challenge, and we're working to get the word out about what we are and who we are and how we can bring value to customers. And I think that's the free will is clearly a very straightforward and obvious value
Hmm.
to anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting talking with people that are the first in any given space rather than someone
Mm.
that's, I don't know, following a path that's already been beaten down. I always joke with people, if you think of the first massage therapist, they had to tell a person, like, we're going to dim the lights, we're going to light some candles, play some good music. You just undress to your comfort level, and I'm going to rub you with oil. And the first person, the first customer, maybe it was creepy, I don't know, but now it's just there's a massage therapy place on every corner kind of thing.
That's a great analogy.
So it's challenging, right? So it's admirable that you're going down that way. Tell me, your crew, I imagine you must have programmers and all that people, all that, the group, I guess, the people that figure out the user interface and
Mhm.
all
Oh
that
yeah.
jazz.
Yeah, oh yeah,
How
we're really blessed with an amazing coding and development team, people working on user experience and
all
design.
right.
And I mean, you know, building an app is like, building a home, but even harder, even more. It's like building a whole building,
Sure.
And it's really thousands of hours of you know on calls with the development team, scrutinizing every interface, every coloration, every button, the placement of the button, the shape of the icon. So much goes into, and really simplifying, continuously simplifying, because the one thing that a user can really tell the difference of an experience is was it hard to figure out? Could I get onto this app and navigate it myself and know how to use it without any YouTube video telling me how? And
Hmm.
so we spent thousands of hours, nights and weekends. As you mentioned, we're both surgeons. So this was, a lot of weekends and nights and early mornings, really, really, really defining and redefining and editing multiple versions of this app.
So, one, how did you find the programmers to put this together?
Well, we found a team. We work really closely. If you've seen on our website, some of our founders, one of our founders, Mohamedi, he's our advisor in the technology field, and he's been instrumental in terms of, again, those countless hours and working on code and building the coding team, and he's actually a lifelong friend. So some of it was, I think, just the fact that we had people we were able to trust and bring into the process who could help build on that for us.
All right. Tell me how, I guess you're working with your spouse. You're both
Mm.
surgeons. I don't know if you work in the same spot or not, but
Mm.
how is it working with your spouse on a startup like this?
Well, that's a great question. Yeah, so it's good. I mean, I'll say the quick answer is it's great.
All right.
We work so well together, and we really have our roles within the company kind of well defined. Everything within uh, our homes and our lives, makes it easy for us to work together. I think anybody with kids knows how you just divvy up work and divvy up life and divvy up the kids, and so, but it allows for really, interesting things and stolen moments where, over coffee in the morning, you're able to have a quick conversation about Triple, or talk about something that you thought about, or collaborate in ways. One of the things that he didn't think about. And I thought about one day, you know, I was just in my closet looking at a piece of jewelry that my daughter had mentioned liking. And I thought, you know, I'd really like to leave this to her on Triple. And we realized at that time, hey, you know, we don't have a great way or mechanism to leave things to a minor who isn't old enough to have a Triple account. So that really like brought on a moment where we were able to talk it out and have a conversation and come up with a solution for the problem that, you know, neither of us had really thought of, and it came out just by us, you know, being together and being around and being able to collaborate easily.
All right. Well, that's super cool. That's impressive. So you have kids, it sounds like.
We do. We have two kids.
All right. And so you have busy job as surgeons, you got kids. Now on top of that, you're throwing on this entrepreneurial journey. Tell me,
Yeah,
how do you make it all happen?
we have a lot of schedules, a whole lot of schedules. You know, we really I won't say, I won't tell you that we have no downtime or no fun time. I think that would be a lie, but we do try to make the most of all of our time in the day that we're able to put towards Triple. We try to, you know, have early morning meetings, have late evening meetings after the kids are gone to bed. We work really hard to make all of the, you know, school plays and the you know, soccer games and dance recitals as well, and we collaborate, and we have a, you know, kind of a tribe of helpers as well. That makes a big difference, you know, and it takes a village, as they say.
Mm-hmm. All right, fair, totally fair. Tell me, let's dig into more about the will thing, because that is very intriguing. And I feel like, I guess from the conversations that I've had with some of the younger people,
Hmm.
some of them don't even know what a will is, which is
Oh
weird.
yeah.
So, but they certainly know what TikTok, Instagram, all the social media things, they
Yeah.
definitely know what those are, which you could make a strong argument which one is more important. So tell me about the will creation and how that came to be. Was that the first thing that you guys came about with, or was that something that came about after the whole social media platform?
No, I think the will was always, it was always an important integration of what this would be. Anytime you speak of legacy, there has to be a passing on. And so if you were to want to, you know, sum up Triple in one word, I would say it's passing on wealth. The
Okay.
wealth of a person, the wealth of their knowledge, the wealth of their experience, the wealth of their charities, wealth in every way that somebody could define it. And so that really includes the digital will component. And we wanted to make it a situation where someone could get on, could easily do it. And a lot of the social parts of it are to get you in, to get you interested, to get you excited, and to get you using the platform and comfortable with the platform. And then, you know, dipping your toe in the will. I mean, obviously, certain people are going to come just for the will. They're excited about the will, and then they might stay for the cast and the journaling and get drawn into the social ways, you know, after the will. And I think some people are going to get drawn into the social aspects of it and then maybe start dipping their toes into the will. But it's an important part of the entire package of what is a legacy.
All right. In the wills, I guess I'm thinking out loud, and this is not from an intelligent point of view. I'm thinking of digital currency and stuff like that. Does that get involved with this? In the
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay.
no, it's extremely important. 80% of online will options don't contain any sort of digital currency or digital items mentioned. So you can pass on digital currency, you can pass on digital land. You know, all of that is available and able to be described and passed on in our will.
All right. Tell me, what is digital land?
So digital land is through Meta. Well, there's actually lots of ways, I suppose, that one could buy digital land, but Meta is the one I'm most familiar with. And you can buy virtual plots of land, and that has value, and that can be passed on.
I have to apologize. apologize. I am so dumb when it comes to something like this. I've never even heard this phrase.
Yeah,
So what do you
it's
do
a
with
thing.
digital land?
Well, so in digital land, if you were to have like imagine a virtual reality setting, and if you were to within this virtual reality setting, the person could go and visit certain digital plots of land, certain virtual land, and within that virtual land, you might have a virtual shop where you sell virtual items to this virtual person. You could have advertising there. So yeah, there's a surprisingly large economy around digital items, FTOs, virtual items, virtual land, all of
Really?
that. Really, yes, it's true.
Wow. I don't
And
know
all of
whether to
that's
be impressed
online
or
and available.
scared. That's
I know. It is all of those things, but yes, it's all included and it's all part of our online will if that's something that somebody has.
all right. But I imagine the will also includes, correct me if I'm wrong, tangible stuff, real
Oh,
land, real
absolutely.
buildings,
Yeah.
real cars, whatever.
You can walk around your house, snap a photo of a painting, and quickly write, I want to leave this to my niece.
Okay.
It's
All
very
right.
easy. Yeah, and it's all automated and simple.
Very cool. Very cool.
Mhm.
Tell me, so all this sounds awesome, but you say there's no money exchange, or it sounds like there's not. You do it for free. So you're just banking on volume? What's the, because I would assume that you have to get paid somehow.
That is, yes, a good point. So we do have some paywalls. There is a paywall after bequeathing a certain number of items. You can pay, you can have obviously free items bequeathed, but for unlimited, for example, there's a paywall around that. And that allows you for a person who may have a home full of items. They could get the unlimited package, which is $24.99, so still significantly cheaper than a will that you might go seek out from a lawyer. Some
Yeah.
of the even start
Yeah.
at
That
five.
might pay for a minute with a lawyer, right?
Exactly. And for the young who may only have 3 or 4 items that they just want to make sure that they've recorded that their stereo goes to their sister,
Mm-hmm.
can still get on and do that for free.
All right.
We are looking to we're developing currently some partnerships, and that will create some revenue stream as well. We're also looking at in the future advertising. Right now we have some affiliate accounts with Amazon. So when you're doing some of your cast questions, for example, these are the questions, the daily journaling prompts that come to you. And it might ask you, what's your favorite candy bar? So what's your favorite candy bar?
I'm going to say Heath.
That's a good answer.
Sure. All right.
Um, so you would write that down as your answer, and you can also link on Amazon Heath bars. And if I'm your friend, I could Amazon you a Heath bar. And
Oh, gotcha.
micro ads are a source of revenue as well.
Gotcha. All right.
Mhm.
Are you to the point, or will you ever be looking for investors?
Yeah, I think we're at the moment we're completely self-funded, and that's something that we're continuing for the future that we see, the foreseeable future. But definitely, I see a point where we will be looking for investors. We'll be looking for taking that next step in our growth, and so yeah, I definitely see that in our future at some point. At the moment, we're all still continuing to go down the path of self-funding, which and organic growth, and that's been really successful for us so far too.
Sure. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. I've heard from or seen a lot of founders speak,
Mm.
and I don't know that, I guess the ones that I've seen, certainly not universal, but the ones that I've seen, typically the ones that are taking care of it themselves, I've seen more success than the ones that actually were chasing money, because it felt like
Yeah,
they were spending an insane amount of time chasing money rather than making their product better. But
we
maybe it's just
spent
me.
a lot of time. We started this process in 2019. So
Whoa.
we
Okay. That's a while.
a lot of time on product, on building, on idea, on going from, idea in our mind to reality to product. I feel like if this were, a movie or something, there would be some musical montage flashing through that part. But honestly, the blood, sweat, and tears of a company, those hours and those days and those minutes. And we did put all that effort in, working on every little aspect of the app and of optimizing it, for the user. It's so much about their experience.
Yeah, very cool. So tell me about the conversation. You said 2019?
Mm.
So 2019, I mean, was this you and your husband at the time that decided to pull the trigger on this?
Yes, yes, it was. Like I said, the idea started floating around late 2019, early 2020,
Okay.
and then that's when it really was something that we decided to take that plunge and take it from an idea to a build phase.
So tell me about that now. When you decided to go from, hey, this would be kind of neat if this existed, to let's go full throttle into making this thing an actual reality. Let's build this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you might remember some crazy things in the world going on in 2020.
Yeah, one or two or
One
19.
or two crazy things. And yeah, I think uh can I honestly say that had a role? Definitely. I think so. I mean, it had everybody really questioning a lot of things in life, and it felt like at that time, hey, this is something that we really want to do. And I don't know. I don't know if it was the environment or just the timing or the combination of everything, but it was there was a time that we just decided at that moment that taking this from an idea to a real thing was the right time and the right feeling. And as I mentioned, there was so much need for it. Once it became clear that the need existed, and once it became clear that we felt we had what could be a very viable solution for that need, it was really hard to ignore and hard to not make it at that point.
Ah, then you feel like you're doing the world a disservice by not offering it.
Well, that's a big statement, but we definitely
Okay.
needed
Fair.
we needed to put into reality what we thought we could do, what we could offer.
Okay. All right. And then tell me, you had that conversation. You're like, yes, we're going to make this happen. You get all excited. And then you say, great. Now we need some people that actually know how to program this stuff.
Yes.
How did you, how did you present this to the programmers? And did you have to go through a few programmers to
Uh,
figure this out?
Not really. I mean, we kind of did some work on the front end to find people that we thought would have the right skill set and the right abilities to bring this to life. And yeah, we did talk to a few, but not a lot actually. That's where I feel like again we really got lucky with finding the right team and the right people that we thought shared our passion and interest for the product, and for the build. And I think that's so important, to founders is working with people that share your passion for what you're doing is so important because it does take a lot of work. It's a lot of hours. And I mean, we know this in medicine. People don't go into medicine because they just think it's a neat job. It's a
I hope
hard
not.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work. If those people do, they don't last long
Hmm.
because it's the kind of work that you need to be passionate about, and so is this. So is building something new, and entrepreneurship certainly is the kind of work that you have to have a passion for.
Hmm. Fair. Totally fair. So tell me, this is new and you're venturing down a unbeaten path, I'm going to say. So I imagine there's some differing opinions between programmers or maybe you and your spouse or even people that are just trying it out. I guess, how do you figure out which choice you're going to make in any one of those scenarios where somebody presents something, and I don't want to
Mhm.
say disagreement like a angry disagreement, but hey, I think we should put the button here, or I think we should
Yeah.
offer this thing. How do you figure that out?
Well, there's a couple of things. One is that we try to filter the ideas through as few people as possible because I think otherwise the app can really feel like a lot of people's vision instead of
Right.
one or two people's vision.
Complex
And
by committee.
so that's one thing. But also, especially this is my husband saying, is that he really likes for the best idea to win. He wants to see the ideas battle it out like gladiators. And we're all for the best idea winning. So even if that idea isn't our idea, if an idea comes out and it's a really good idea and it matches our our vision and what we're trying to create for the user, it's how we go.
All right. Tell me, this is one of those things that I always have to ask life insurance salespeople. How do you put together a product or service, whatever, promise, that has to do with people dying, passing away,
Yeah.
which is inevitable, but it's
Mhm.
still one of those like, I want to talk about something a little lighter kind of thing. How do
Oh
you
yeah.
present this in a way that still keeps it fun, interactive, moving forward, get people on the platform without being morbid?
Oh, that's a great question. And that's a challenge, I think. Especially so, as someone moves through life, thinking about their legacy happens naturally, I believe. We get to a point, I don't know that 20-year-olds or teenagers are thinking about their legacy.
Probably
And
not.
that's why I think there are different ways, multiple ways to draw users into Triple that aren't just a will. The young may come in. We have a feature on Triple called the Council of Elders. And what this feature is it's a platform where you can really state what your expertise is. I can say that I have an expertise in surgery of X number of years. And anytime someone submits a question that I feel like I have expertise to answer, I can go in and answer that person's question. And
Oh,
so this is a way for the young to engage, maybe getting advice, maybe getting answers. It's almost like um, a Reddit, but better because the person that you're getting information and advice from is actually in that field with experience, and you're able to look and see, oh, this person has 20 years of experience in the area that I've asked the question. I really feel like this is a genuine answer that I can trust. And so there's a lot of ways. I know I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent, but there's a lot of ways to get into the app and get in that don't have to do with death. And that I think is really important because those users should be starting and building a legacy from an early age anyway. And
yeah.
um and this gets them in without necessarily having to dance around the topic of a will. I think for the people who know and feel deep down that they do want to start getting their life in order and their assets in order, and there's no real clear idea of what age that happens in, people gravitate to it for different reasons and for different uses.
Yeah, it's kind of the running joke, I guess, for stuff like that is you need life insurance 5 minutes before you die kind of thing. But you always find
Yeah.
out too late or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we really honestly see people going back for emergency surgery, scribbling down information on slips of paper to pass to family.
Oh, I
And
don't doubt it. I don't
yeah,
doubt
it's not, it doesn't have to be that way. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be, you know, you can spur these conversations on so easily. And I think Triple helps people do that. I recently had a conversation with my parents on Triple and because of Triple about their end of life wishes. And so it's a conversation that I think Triple allows you to have in a way that feels not like I'm just clobbering right into the topic. So I think it actually gives people a way to have these conversations that everyone knows they want to have or should have. It's like flossing, you need to talk about these things.
Fair, totally fair. So you guys have been going for a few months, have been
Mhm.
building up over the course of a few years. Where do
Yeah.
you see yourself over the course of the next, let's say, year?
Well, we're still continuing to grow over the next year. We're right now. We found that there's a great interest in our product amongst, I would say, millennial age and above. Our target audience is really like 30 to 50-year-old, and we're finding a lot of moms, especially, are really drawn to our app. So we're getting a lot of interest in the 30 to 50-year-old mom groups.
Okay.
Um, I think it's just, as a mom, I know why. We feel like we want to impart all of this stuff to our children, this knowledge, this information. We want to leave things for them, and we want to feel like we're prepared and that we've done everything we could to be prepared. And so we're finding a lot of moms feel the same way, and that, who as a busy mom has time to go hunt down a lawyer and make a will? So we're finding a lot of interest in these groups, and we're doing a lot of our advertising and targeted authentic growth towards these groups, and finding a lot of engagement there.
All right, that's a perfect segue, because next question is, tell me about marketing. How are you getting the word out that so that people know you exist, and beyond that, actually try the product?
Yeah, so we're keeping things steady at the moment and slow. We do have a in-house marketing, and we are doing some, like I said, we're sort of working now on our more organic growth, building the word. We're working with some influencers and micro influencers to help get the word out. Obviously, doing podcasts.
Woo!
Dun, da, da, da. And so we're working on that. We are hoping to get some increased blogs, both on our website and published, and get some journal articles out in the next year as well.
All right. Now, can someone get onto Triple with a laptop or desktop, or do they have to have a phone or tablet or
Right
Android,
now,
Apple app type thing?
yeah, everything is app. So right now we are on Android and Apple. Um, our website, Triple.social, is not, I mean, it is our website. It explains everything, but you can't go onto the website to make your will.
Gotcha.
So right now, everything is phone based.
Okay.
Um, that's the platform that we feel like people are going to most engage. Now, when you do make your will, there's an option to export your PDF, so you can send that PDF to your computer. You can print it. So there is a physical copy that you can create of your PDF will. There's also coming online just now, actually, is a way to request and be sent PDF copies of your cast questions. So if you wanted to have some of your memories printed out, kept like a journal or a book, for a very small fee, that's possible as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking it's interesting that you mentioned all that, because I'm wondering, from my parents are old, and I would say probably too old to know how to navigate something like this, because email is a challenge for them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I agree that it's hard to say. I mean, we're both in healthcare, and I would say it really is a huge spectrum of what sort of tech usage we see even in
fair,
patients.
totally
I
fair.
mean, um, I see 80 or 90-year-olds that are getting onto their healthcare portal and sending us messages. And so
Wow. Good for
I'm
them.
always surprised at the technology usage across every age.
Fair. That's better than me. I hate logging into the healthcare portal. Like,
Hey,
this seems like
We're on a Zoom right now, so this can't be totally technology
no,
abs
no. To me, it's just one more step. Like, couldn't you just email me this? Like, why do we have to go through whatever
no,
software?
I get it.
Anyways, tell me a story about how it has been to work with both Apple and Google in regards to their platforms for distributing the app.
Um, Surprisingly easy. Apple actually has a few more steps, but yeah, it hasn't been that hard getting onto the App Store and optimizing our App Store interface. is something that we did really early on, and at least in terms of getting everything ready for that platform. Certainly, the coders have some things that they have to do to make, the app able to be on that platform. And what we did in our build is that we built our Apple version slightly ahead of our Android version so that we weren't optimizing two things at the same time, and we could get one up and out and ready and optimized and have the other lagging by a few months so that we could then say, okay, this is how the finished product and how it's all going to work on Apple. Now let's make sure that the Android matches. So,
All right.
um, so that was really the big thing, and that's something our tech team really went through seamlessly and beautifully.
Sure. Very cool. Tell me about the data, because I imagine you guys have tons of data and you
Mm-hmm.
want to use that data to make the product better. What is the system that you guys use to go through that without poking in or invading people's privacy?
Right, yes, and that's important. So, I mean, all of the data that people are entering in their will is 100% encrypted and private. There's actually just a little segue getting into the will. So, something that we as healthcare providers realize is that, people may be of varying states of mind. Um, especially towards the end of life, they may be
Mhm.
getting medication and things that might be altering their consciousness. And so we protected the will even at the level of getting into the will, even once you're in the app. So obviously, getting into the app is is the first level. But once you're in the app and you get into the will, it's going to require you to answer a simple math problem. It's going to require you to do a very simple spatial puzzle. It's not one of those, which picture has a are you a robot
Sure.
ones. One
Yeah.
of those. I
Okay.
feel like I fail those every time. It's simply just moving a bar to match up a visual spatial puzzle, and then it face identifies you. So you're triple protected at that point where you have to be of sound mind. You have to be able to move that bar and not, slurred or drunk or something like that. And you have to be, and it has to be you. It's face identifying you to even be able to get into your will.
Hmm.
So that data is safe from even from yourself. And then it's obviously encrypted and it's all completely safe in that manner as well. Um, some of our demographic information we're able to track, but it really depends on how the person registers, whether
Okay.
they register through a social media platform like Facebook or not. And a lot of our information is really related to the app itself, such as what features are people using, how much time are they spending on those features, how many downloads did we get, and how many of those went on to register and that sort of thing. So the very specific information, though, that's sensitive, obviously, we're not even able to access.
Gotcha. So I'm wondering, you mentioned the being able to see which part of the app, I guess, they're essentially using or how often people are using it. Maybe it's
Yeah.
once a month, once a week, once an hour, whatever, and then make changes from there.
Mhm.
Are you to the point, I guess, just being a few months into it that you don't quite have enough data to know? Or do you have
Well,
enough usage where you can see, like, hey, we got to make a tweak here because we're always seeing people leave or not use this portion or something of that nature?
yeah, I mean, we have some early data, but it is something that we're able to assess. We were able to work on optimizing the app in ways that helped encourage the user to stay on it longer.
Mm,
And so we have increased the amount of time, the average amount of time that a user is on the app. Um, we're able to see what people use the most of, and it varies on any given week, but they're very close. The two top features are the digital will and the cast question. That's the daily journal question that comes to you.
okay.
Um, those are still two of the really popular features, but I'd say a close third is the recipe album. That's a very popular feature as well.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting. Tell me about that.
Well, it's just a way that you can go in and enter a recipe in Triple and log and save your recipe. and it creates a really beautiful album. It's almost like creating a photo album, but it's of a recipe.
Oh, wow.
And you can then specify who you want to receive that recipe album, and who you're sharing it with, basically.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
If I remember on your introductory video, there was something, there's a gamification aspect of it. Is that right?
Yeah. So you earn deeds. So
Okay.
by going in and working on your digital legacy, you, after answering cast questions, you earn deeds, and you can go into your main profile and see how well you're doing.
All right.
You earn certain amount of charity deeds for logging charity, and charity is something that we hope to really work in terms of our affiliates. Right now, we are able to log that you've done charity. Maybe you went out and this can be, by the way, any form of charity. I could log that I raked leaves at my church, or that I went to the community center and picked up trash for 20 minutes.
All
And
right.
that's just something that maybe I want to track, or I can log, actual financial donations that I made to the Red Cross or to the food bank. So you can log any type of charity, and that gets recorded as your deeds for the day or the week.
Got it. Okay. Indeed, the term, it's not, I guess, what is that representative of? Is that exclusively for um donation, or is that, because it sounds
No,
like
it's
the
just the
gamification thing
the
is
de- the
beyond that.
deed is the term. The deeds, just deed is a shortened term that we use for your seeing your kind of your credit. So
Okay.
you earned a deed, and you earn those deeds for all of the things that you can do on Triple. If you go in and you do something on your will, then you're earning a deed that day.
Gotcha.
You can earn memory deeds by for example, by going in and recording your memory.
All right. That's cool.
Mhm.
So, we're almost running out of time here, but I want to ask you a couple more questions here. The posts that people can put up, are
Mhm.
they text, audio, visual, video, picture only? Is it them only, or can they throw up other stuff, memes and all that kind of crazy stuff? Or I guess,
Yeah. Well,
tell me about that a little bit.
yeah, they can do photos. They can do videos. We've just come online with our it might seem like a small thing, but we've just finalized being able to go directly from your photo album and search Triple to be able to directly upload that picture to Triple. And so that's
Oh,
something
nice.
that was a piece of feedback that we got from users, that if they see a photo in their photo album and want to quickly upload it to Triple, that's now something that's possible. And so it can be photos, it can be a collection of photos, it can just be words, it can be voice. So you can upload, any media that way. It can be a video. There aren't any, you know, kind of other types of things that can be uploaded. And then, obviously people can go through and traditionally like or comment on the things that are on the feed.
Okay. Very cool. I want to go down. Last question here, almost last question, is going to be a little nerdy. Tell me, because logistics of storage and servers and all that kind of stuff, to me, when I think of a platform like YouTube, and you
Mhm.
look at the volume of videos that are uploaded every day,
Oh, yeah.
there must just be a state that is all server farms. So tell me, where are you guys at, and how do you plan on growing that in the future? Because people keep uploading stuff, it doesn't go away,
Yeah,
it just keeps adding.
it just keeps adding. Yeah. Well, I think that one of the things is obviously our data is curated, so it may be that people house less sort of random things on our platform, that they're thinking about. These are the things that in 100 years, someone's going to look back at my life and see. But we are completely capable of housing large amounts of data, and we are going to be, down the road when we're looking at significant growth. Right now, the platform's able to handle and has been tested for hundreds of thousands of users. So we're well poised to continue to be able to grow.
All right, that's awesome, that's impressive. It's always it's interesting because my kid will watch a YouTube video, and sometimes every once in a while it'll take a couple seconds for it to come up. And
Yeah.
he's just right, super impatient, just like his dad.
I can't take it.
And I'm like, buddy, you got to understand how many wires that's going through, exactly all the stars that have to align for that video to even show up here, let alone for it to show up as quick as you click.
Yeah.
It is amazing that it works at all, let alone that.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't think that generation will ever quite understand.
No, it's funny. I remember this was, I don't know, let's say 5-6 years ago, something like that. We were at my in-laws' house and we put on a show for him because we were having a conversation. And it was on cable, but it had a commercial, and he had never seen a commercial before. So it was a show that he was used to from Netflix or something like that didn't have commercials.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it has a commercial and he started crying. He's like, they stopped the show.
Oh no, I can't skip ad. Why won't it work?
Like, oh, buddy, if you only knew. If you only knew. So anyway, Crystal, I really appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Yeah. Tell me the website. Let's start there.
www.triple.social.
Triple.social. Awesome. And that's triple just like it sounds, or is there 2 P's in there?
2 P's. Yes. Triple actually stands for time ripple. It's short for time ripple. That's why there's 2 P's.
Got it. All right. So make sure you put 2 P's in there. Awesome.
P's.
This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumph and successes of business owners across the land. We're locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. If you're listening or watching this on the web, if you could do us a huge favor, give the big old thumbs up, subscribe, and of course, share it with all your friends and let them know that Triple is the place to be to get all your memories to be seen well past, well, we'll call it your prime when you pass, right? My name is James Cademan, and Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering and receptionist services for service businesses across the country on the web at callsoncall.com, as well as Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur in all of us, available wherever fine books are sold. We'd like to thank you, our wonderful listeners, as well as our guest, Crystal Sadiq, COO and co-founder of Triple. Crystal, can you tell us where can people find the app? Just, I don't know if they have to type in something special to find it. There's millions of apps out there.
Yeah, on the App Store and on Google Play. Type in Triple. Remember, it's 2 P's. Triple Digital Legacy. You'll find us there.
Sweet. So Triple, TRIPPLE.
That's right.
Cool. Awesome. Past episodes can be found morning, noon, and night. The podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business.